This is a NVIDIA GeForce 9800 GX2. This is a relic from 2008. Let me see here. Early 2008. I got the tech power up pulled up on a monitor off to the side there. So this is, I believe this was the kind of the last dying breath of something called G92. So G92 was just awesome. Back in the day, that was the 8800 GT. For those of you who knew how legendary the 8800 GT is, the 8800 GT was essentially the 1080 Ti of its era. The 8800 GT was regarded as the best card ever made for quite a few years, actually. This is two of them in one card, hence the GX2. So unfortunately, I can't actually test it today. I'm not set up to test it at the moment. I could, I don't have the setup for it right now at this instant. But we're gonna take a look at it and just kind of, for those of you that don't handle this kind of aged hardware very often, it might be something you find interesting. So it's interesting. It doesn't look that far off from a modern video card. You know, it's a decent sized 2-slot card. I believe this is one of the first cards that you got HDMI on. It does have an HDMI port, which is interesting because this architecture, the other cards in this architecture did not have HDMI. So like the 8800 GT, 9800 GT, those 9800 GTX, 8800 GTX, all of those cards had dual display ports as the only video outputs, whereas this has the display ports. They both? Looks like they're both dual link display ports and the HDMI on it. My opinion on these cards, because I've had a few of these back in the day. I had a few of these back in the day. They're not good cards. Most of the cards that most of the 9800 GX2s that I have encountered have been defective. I'm assuming, so most of these, I believe they made 2 variants of this card, if I remember right. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe they had a variation that was literally 2 single-slot GPUs sandwiched together with an SLI bridge, and then I think they may have had a second version that was actually 2 GPUs on one board. So back when this card was new, they kind of didn't really do the 2 GPUs on one board thing. I think the first real good card that they did that on was the GTX 295. And those you can actually look on some of them and you'll actually see on the back of the PCB, card 1, card 2. But the other thing that I always encountered with these was I was never, the one that I think I got 1 or 2 of them to work at one point, and the ones I did get to work were never the kind of performance that you would have expected, even back in the day when SLI was like the in thing and games were made for it. I was never impressed. I never saw one of these that really impressed me or justified the cost of the card. It looks like MSRP on the card was $599, which was pretty common back then, like $375, $349.99 to like $600. Those are pretty common pricings back then. Tech Power Up actually rates it pretty high. It looks like Tech Power Up thinks it's on par with like no, actually not. Well, not really. I mean, according to Tech Power Up's stuff only puts it like 12. They're trying to claim it's only about 12% faster than a single 9800 GT. So, I mean, if that's the case, yeah, these really didn't scale well and they weren't reliable, like I said. So, I was digging around for another card in my closet and I totally forgot I had this. I got it from a buddy a couple of years ago and it's just kind of been sitting in the closet. I keep forgetting to do something with it. So at some point I will probably drop it into my my first gen test rig and see what it does. Actually, it's funny because I had a pair of SLI cards and I totally forgot to test this one, even though I did test some SLI cards. So Anyway, I hope you guys find this interesting and kind of just a cool look at a piece of hardware from the past. So anyway, thanks for watching the video.